Hello, I'm up here Toycat, and what do you think the fastest way to get a lot of iron is? You might say it's to go mining and get as much iron as you can from the ground. You might say, oh, you've got to make yourself a poppy farm that incidentally creates some iron along the way. No, I think the fastest way to get iron is something you probably haven't considered, and it's to do with these smooth stone blocks, which you can of course get by smelting stone in a furnace, and then you get something that looks a little bit like those weird stone slabs but doubled. Because the actual best way to get iron will only work if you've been playing Minecraft on the same world for a while, or someone else has, because the real best way to find iron is to steal it from yourself. So back in the old days of like, you know, the 1.8 beta, finding stone slabs, this is what they're now called, smooth stone slabs, created this weird kind of, again, like you can see, they're clearly slabs combined. It still does have that effect because it's a legacy thing, and so if you wanted to get a kind of stone slab but not slab vibe, you had to use iron blocks. That's right, I took blocks which are made from full iron. These are 9 blocks of, again, every single one of these is 9 ingots of iron. We can prove that by crafting it down. I took a bunch of iron, all of the iron in my world. I even went mining specifically for it, just so I could make this wall out of iron. However, the biggest problem with it, you know, all of these 9 blocks of iron, I just mined 81 ingots right there. Can your iron farm work this fast? I don't think it can. Wow, 12 times 9 now. I've gotten 100 bits of iron just by doing that. But the thing is, now we're in the crazy world of 1.16 and 2021, and one of the weird quirks of that is that now instead of using all of my iron to make a free high wall, I can take these smooth stone blocks, which if you see them side by side, honestly, not a lot of difference, right? I mean, one's clearly blander, but given that I always intended to use smooth stone anyway, because it matches the ground a lot better, and maybe that's a bad reason I shouldn't use it, but basically, rather than having it be wasted in this weird little vault in a place I'm not even using it, I'm taking all of my iron and replacing it with smooth stone, because it's one of those tiny things I just should do. So that's gonna be the first task today. But rather than just replacing it with smooth stone, what if we went a step further? What if we actually built the wall a little bit higher? I mean, I always intended this to be floor to ceiling, but the problem, I mean the very obvious problem, is that iron blocks are very expensive. Seriously, just to convert this to iron ingots right here, I used enough iron to get 4 stacks and then extra just to make a 3 block high wall. It was a dumb use of iron, that again was the necessary way to do something at the time, that now can be improved. In fact, things changing with the times is not just a function of the real world, it happens in Minecraft all the time. There is always things that are getting easier, and that raises the big question I wanted to talk about, which is Minecraft getting easier as a whole? I mean, every update that comes out, you can look at it and say, well, some ways it's easier and some ways it's different, and you know, we talk about that is Minecraft getting easier progressively, but has Minecraft gone easier is the big question I wanted to answer while doing some other key basic upkeep tasks in my Minecraft world. Isn't this much nicer now than what came before it? Actually, it's a little bit blander. Maybe if I crafted some of that iron back into iron blocks like I'll do now, maybe we could do something a little bit better rather than leaving it so boring and bland. What if the because you know there's 2 rooms here, you need to go into both rooms to open the vaults. It's my clever anti-theft method. Wow. But what if I instead I deliberately built a little T like this, and that way it's not only just the T for Bank of Toycat, but also because you know that's what this is. This is my own personal bank. But also now it's indicating you've got to go both ways. See, now it's a little bit more interesting than it was before. I like it this way more. I'm going to go all the way to the ground though. Yeah, there we go. And I can also do some other things with the ground and making it more interesting. But for now, you get the point. We did that. Wow, it's slightly more unique and interesting. Oh, should we do that as well? Yeah, I like it. Sure, why not? But the point is that you can make these tiny changes over time because Minecraft is changing over time in all sorts of ways. The fastest way to, you know, go up is no longer to, you know, make a boat, to make a minecart or a boat ladder. This is the fastest way about using resources. It's fine, it's great, and it works until one of your minecarts goes missing, which is still a huge problem. But if I want to cover the distance of that whole tower that would take about 10 seconds in there, which was fast before, I just activate a elytra, and boom, we're already up there, and we're flying where we want to be already. Lots of things get a lot faster and more effective, and one of those things is enchantments. Enchanting used to be this whole rigorous trial and error method, but now what you do is you trade with villagers. I have such a dumb supply of decent enchanted books lying around, like, wow, I could put infinity on a bow. Not that I'd ever want to. But, you know, I've got all these enchantments just lying around. And so now I'm going to finally do something I should have done, honestly, a long time ago. I've got 49 levels so it kind of hurts to do here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put Unbreaking on my sword, so it breaks very slightly less. It uses 6 whole levels, which, again, hurts to say out loud, but it's fine. And also, you know what? These shears that have efficiency and mending, they've needed Unbreaking on them too for a while. Boom, there we go. We're down to level 37. Hurts to say, but we're here. But what are we actually up to today, besides talking about the evolution of Minecraft easiness? It's actually going to involve taking just a little bit of a risk, and I don't mean this with a skeleton. It involves doing something which I've never really even attempted before anywhere, because here's the deal. I have this Nether Fortress, and this is where previously kind of the end of the Nether was. There was this giant lava chasm, and I extended my Nether Fortress to cover that chasm. I actually kind of like the extended Nether Fortress look. There's something kind of fun about this, but it's not that special. I mean, you could believe a Nether Fortress is like this, and maybe I'm just like, you know, upset that I spent so long, you know, like an hour or so building this giant Nether brick bridge that just no one appreciates. And so that's why I figured, you know, rather than having a bridge made from a material that isn't appreciable, what if instead, this is very risky to put down my shulker box in the Nether here, but what if instead we did something a little bit more fun and we used some obsidian? Because here's the deal, obsidian is a resource I have a lot of right now. What if we, because I want to make this extend another 600 blocks all the way to where my mesa is. My mesa biome's like a solid 10,000 blocks away from spawn or something. So I need to go 1,200 blocks in the Nether. What if we instead took some obsidian? What if the Nether brick went away and some obsidian came in instead? What if we had an obsidian Nether Fortress? I think that would look cool. I don't know for sure if it will, but I'm taking the risk. And it's funny because the whole idea of me having this amount of obsidian, not just, you know, stacks of it, but a whole shulker box full, and this is barely anything. This is like less than a quarter of my supply. I have a lot of obsidian because I've been mining a lot of it, because it's gotten a lot easier to mine obsidian. Not only because of Bedrock making obsidian mining easier, hey, look at that. Bedrock made obsidian mining easier than it was on other editions, console and Java notably, but also because of the fact that, like, you know, Netherite came out. So that meant that an efficiency 5 got so much easier to get on a pickaxe. Who doesn't have efficiency 5 on pickaxes these days? Are you crazy or something? And as a result of just like the game getting easier, now you can get the crazy hard to get resource of obsidian in quantities that you could make a giant Nether Fortress from it that's going to extend, hopefully by the time we're done, 1,200 blocks from the Nether. It seems absurd, and let's be honest, it still is a little bit absurd. We can't pretend like, yeah, this is pretty easy to do. This isn't what most players do. But the fact that anyone can do it without, you know, I'm not the sort of person who has, like, you know, 300 hours spent mining obsidian towers. I just spent maybe, like, I don't know, 12 hours across 4 streams a few weeks ago mining some obsidian to get rid of some towers. And now I have a bunch of this crazy hard to destroy, crazy hard to mine block. Isn't there something special to that? I think there is. And I think that's why I wanted to, very early on here, say that, like, yeah, Minecraft is truly getting easier. I think it's very hard to dispute that, but I think it gets easier because they give you more paths towards the same content, rather than making something really tricky and only obtainable in one way. Like Efficiency 5 used to just be for gold pickaxes, and then you could, then after gold pickaxes, which was dumb, it used to be that you could combine 2 Efficiency 4 pickaxes together. You know, you have to enchant that naturally. And then obviously you started being able to trade for Efficiency 5 or fish for it or anything else like that. Truthfully, you know, it still is much easier to get Efficiency 5 on a gold pickaxe than a Netherite one. Actually, that might not be true. Netherite's a lot more enchantable. You know, Netherite's the point where it became actually findable by itself. But ignoring Netherite, you know, like on a diamond pickaxe, you know, it still is possible to just combine 2 Efficiency 4 pickaxes together. In fact, that's what I intend to spend some experience on later today. It's just they offer you more pathways to get to that same content. And this is a problem that every game has, where you have 2 options when it comes to... I'm going to leave the fire down there. I think the fire is going to add some nice atmosphere. Ooh, that's nice and not risky at all, huh? But I think this is a problem that every game has. I used to play a lot of RuneScape, and whenever a RuneScape update came out, it usually would either make getting experience in a particular category way easier, or it would be an update that people forgot about. And so they had, you know, they had to keep on deciding, like, do we want to power creep, or do we want to make content no one cares about? It is a huge dilemma that any game is going to have. People want improvements. You know, if you don't offer people a material improvement of what they have, why would they change? We have such a inertia towards the way things are right now, and an inertia that you know, you could argue plagues society, or maybe is one of the best things about us. That's your argument to make, I guess. But we do have inertia. We do have a resistance to new things, because why would you want new things? This is always the thing about McDonald's people don't understand. Like, oh, I would rather go to a fancy restaurant where there's a chef who understands exactly what I like, and you know, I would much rather go to a fine establishment than McDonald's. It's like, people don't go to McDonald's because they think it's great. They go to McDonald's because they think it's okay, and consistently okay is surprisingly hard to find. You know, like a lot of people want, you know, even if you think about your human relationships, wouldn't you love to have a crazy friend that's sometimes amazing and sometimes flaky? You don't think it if I say it that way, but like, oh, yeah, don't you hate boring friends? And it's like, well, boring friends, probably the ones who will be there for you when you need them most. But do you care about the reliability? Same with boring cars, boring everything else, right? I'm not a car person, but I know that the most reliable cars aren't the ones that people like to drive the most. You like a little bit of confusion, a little bit of wild variability. The fact that people play the lottery, despite the fact that it's almost, you know, or people gamble in Vegas. I can tell you that from my time living in Vegas, that lots of people like to gamble lots of money there, not because they're thinking about all the outcomes, but because there's something fun about it. I've seen so many like decisions kind of falter based on the idea that they come from this. Oh yeah, so everyone just examine all the options, and then they'll conclude that this is the best because it is the best in every way. And it's like, no, that's not how this is. Even in my own like personal, professional life, you know, I've ran many websites in my time, and many businesses, let's call them, and I've always tried to do something substantially different. And you realize, like, people like an area of familiarity. They want to already understand it. They want to already be very familiar with how it works. This is why, you know, to go back to that roulette or lottery thing, there's always unique, weird, quirky lotteries for people who want to get into them. They're not very popular. It's always the not quirky ones that are successful. Also, yeah, I guess we're gonna just switch to a tunnel here. Does that actually make sense? I don't think it does, but I guess we're gonna do it anyway. So what do you reckon about this so far? I like it, but it has a bit more of an end vibe than I was really hoping for. Like, it feels like we're in the end more than the Nether, and again, it doesn't feel like a Nether Fortress. It feels like an end road. It feels like... How did you not die there, Ghast? But it feels... Hey, there we go. Thank God. It feels a little bit more like we've made a... again, it feels like we've made something end-like than Nether-like. And so that's something I hope fixes, or maybe it doesn't. But another thing that I want to do, another little... You know, the reason I brought this glass with me is because there's another thing I figured we could try out. So we're gonna... obviously make this nice and round, but I want to make like kind of a bubble over the Nether Fortress so that it's always safe from ghast attacks. So I guess that should be, what, like 3 blocks off the surface at the top? Maybe 4 blocks away from the surface at the top here. And you know what? This is very dangerous. I shouldn't be doing this with a ghast actively attacking me. No, don't. Don't do that to me, ghast. See, like, there's just so many ghast spawning here in particular. It's like a genuine concern of mine. That's the worst bit about ghasts, is they actively try to avoid you. See, ghasts is something about Minecraft that haven't gotten easier over time, I would argue. They're still just as annoying to take down. You have crossbows now, and you've got enchanted bows. You know, maybe you value infinity or mending that highly or something. But you know, the Nether is still a hellish place. Look at it all. You know, the Nether's gone harder, I would argue, in some ways. There are more options here, and there are, you know, more options to kill you, I would say, in that way. Because, yeah, when they add more options to do things, they make things that are very hard because they require specific tasks, or because they require things you don't want to do. They make those things easier, but they make things that are hard because they've got difficulty attached. They tend to make those things harder as well. I would say, take for example the Wither. The Wither, you know, it's harder on Bedrock than it is in Java. Over time, they came to the conclusion that, like, actually, yeah, if we're gonna make it harder somewhere. Also, I think... Oh, this is a free... Oh, God, there is... I never realized how annoying working in the Nether could be. There's so many things that want to kill me. I don't want you all here. Can you please leave? And this is where my little glass roof is gonna come in handy, I reckon. So what I'm thinking, maybe naively, is I can make myself a nice little glass roof. Should be nice and easy, something like this. And then that glass roof, yeah, 2 blocks wide over here. And then that glass roof can make me see what's out there, which I think will be a cool little view, but also keep me protected from it. So we'll do the same thing over here. Obviously, there'll be obsidian down there later. Just kind of 2 blocks linking into this, which is up there, which links into this. And then that way we get this kind of bubble effect. It'll be an obsidian and it'll be an obsidian fortress, but it'll kind of have a fun little, again, like almost theme park vibe, where you're like looking at everything through the window. Maybe that's more of a zoo, I'm not too sure. But it'll stop all the annoying things getting in here. Or if they do get in here, it'll keep them in there, which is exactly what you want with all the Nether problems. I guess we could just light it up effectively to avoid that, but you know, all of these Nether hells which have gone in my way would finally be gone if we just had a tunnel like this going the whole way over. And I think that somehow, again, we'll have to confirm, I think somehow that still looks kind of Nether Fortressy, but I could be entirely delusional. Anyway, there's something really interesting about Minecraft in particular, and that is, you know, like this inertia, this idea that like you do things the way you've always done them because that's the easiest way. It's something that like comes up in so many counterintuitive places. Like whenever a really popular brand new game comes out, so like Doom was the first person shooter, there are a bunch of Doom clones. There were so many games that were just like Doom but a bit different, that the whole FPS genre was called the Doom clone genre. Same with you know, Minecraft. Like when you see a game like Minecraft, it's, you know, most of them are just Minecraft clones, because the games that take the Minecraft mechanics further, they're much harder to get into if you're a Minecraft fan. I've got brothers who are like children. They're probably not children now, you know, people age as time goes on, but they're basically children, if not children. You know, like age 8 now, maybe, I want to say. Age 8 and 6, something like that. And, you know, they used to play some fake Minecraft because it was free on the App Store rather than real Minecraft. And, you know, something about that, seeing that happen in real time, where like, oh yeah, no one ever plays those fake Minecraft games. And then you realize, oh, people do play those fake Minecraft games, because it's like basically as good, and like, you know, like, or like in the ways they want it to be, and it's different enough in, you know, it's the same game in most ways, but then it's different in ways that make you go, ooh, we've got something different. Someone recently sent me a, like they said, you know, like a family of regular viewers to the Toycat channel said, yeah, we play this weird Minecraft ripoff. I want to say it's called like Milkcraft or something like that. And, you know, like at first my reaction was, this is a insane game, but it's happened so many times that people who like Minecraft, who like my videos, have recommended some Minecraft style clone, because what if you like Minecraft, what's the most likely thing you'll like next? Something that is like Minecraft, but not. And it's bizarre. It doesn't seem like it should be true. But when you know, like, you would assume if you were a professional game designer that like, oh, if people like Minecraft, they're tired of that. They need something new. Nah, the people who like Minecraft want more things that are like Minecraft, just different. And that's, you know, that's why when it comes to what people like in like foreign food, people like things that are familiar. Like, ooh, I like that this is like pizza but made with naan bread. Naan bread pizza, by the way, oh, it's incredible. I had a naan bread bacon roll from I shared it on Twitter if you want to see my baking I've been doing recently. Naan bread bacon roll. Oh my god, was that incredible. And it's like, it's not really, you know, it seems like it's some exotic thing, but it's just taking some tiny part of an exotic thing and applying it to something you already have. I'm taking the exotic concept of obsidian, I mean, exotic's definitely the wrong word to use here, but I'm using it anyway. I'm taking this exotic obsidian, wow, it's so crazy. And I'm replacing something you're very familiar with, a Nether Fortress. Replacing's the wrong word, but I'm taking that exact same thing, and I'm altering just one thing about it. The fact that I enjoy seeing these so much, like, whenever I have a weird survival project idea, it usually is just like, yeah, what if something I already know and like, but with one thing changed? And one of the things I think about so often is like, how would your life be different if you'd made some very slight different choice? Like, what if I had the girl I gave that giant Valentine's Day heart to, what if she'd have said yes? How would my dating life now be different? Because, you know, that was like a major rejection when she was like happy with it, but then later like said she tore it up because her mother, you know, something about like her mother made fun of her. So it was like, no, I'll tear it up. And then like, you know, our relations never recovered from that moment. What if they had? What if that had been the magnum opus? Would I have become like a super romantic type that always did big gestures like that? Or, you know, maybe I always do big gestures and I just don't know it because of that one big one. You know, everyone always likes to wonder the what if situations. And I would argue a what if situation is just the exact same thing. You know, what if things are exactly the way they are now, but with one tiny thing different? I love sci-fi, and I like to believe like, yeah, I love entirely new universes that these authors or these artists, directors create. You know, like it's also okay. Let's boom, boom, boom. I love I love the world that these people are creating. But really, like, the best sci-fi is when they do a tiny little change to the current world. Like, people love Black Mirror, right? If you haven't seen Black Mirror, it's one of the great joys of the universe to be able to watch it for the first time. I envy you and that experience you're about to go on. You know, assuming you watch it, you don't have to listen to some crazy British internet cat talk about it. But the whole premise behind all of that show is like, yeah, man, what if the current world, but like too far? What if you could like rate human beings or something like that? What if you could email dead people? You know, all sorts of like ludicrous, like not that far off sounding things are in that show. And enough things about are like gonna become real at some point. You know, what if there's a dating app that actually just takes a clone version of you and uses it and tortures it eternally to work out if you'll be compatible with someone? There are some really wholesome episodes. There's also a lot of existential terror episodes. That's kind of Black Mirror explained in a nutshell, I'd say. But the overall point there is that I think that's what makes Black Mirror successful, where other shows aren't quite so much. It's the what if things are mostly the same, but then mildly different. And that's why I think it's so hard to make unique Minecraft updates. They got into a really good flow for a while, where they're like, we'll just alter some very minor things, like, okay. So also, we need to take some more obsidian, I reckon. Oh, can't be doing that while there's magma cubes on the hunt. But yeah, I think it's really interesting because those shows are very successful doing this. I'm gonna have the obsidian just kind of like phase in here, and then like, so then there we can see, just have like a block here and there, and then like a few blocks over here too. Does that look natural, the blend between the two? I think it does. But yeah, this love for things that are, you know, basically the same as they are now, but feeling entirely different. It's something that like took me way too long to work out because, you know, it always seemed like what we really love is we love technological innovation. Like we love when things are brand new and they're coming from nowhere. Like, you know, people love the Cybertruck. I mean, you might not personally. I don't. Again, not a particularly big car guy. I don't know the general like car people's feel on that, but people like the Cybertruck. It's crazy. It's a whole new form factor for a vehicle. And you know, if you think about electric cars as a whole, people are really proud of this like future vehicle that they own. But really, the sales pitch for a Tesla for most people is it's basically like your current car, but it uses electricity instead of gas. So probably good for the environment, maybe. Also, probably good for saving. You know, aren't gas prices high? And that's what really sells people. The whole like, ooh, it's this futuristic self-driving car. People have that in the back of their minds, and that helps them to like justify the huge money they're spending. I mean, in most cases, I imagine. But the majority of people are actually just like, yeah, it's kind of like the thing I have right now, but it's better in some minor way. So I guess I'll go with it. And maybe that's not the most inspiring message, but I think about it all the time. Like, think about every new smartphone that comes out and how it looks exactly like the last one, but slightly different. Every time a new smartphone manufacturer tries something radically different, people don't buy it. They're like, I'll just take the rectangle brick one. Actually, that's fine with me. Oh, you sure? You sure you don't want the flippy phone? You sure you don't want the phone that's actually a circle? It's like, nah. You know, like another great example of a genuine innovation, to me at least, is Google Glass. Google Glass was going to be a whole new way we could interact with the world. And people just kind of decided, like, yeah, it's a lot of hassle. And also privacy. I mean, I don't want cameras recording me. It's like, but okay, whatever. And so, yeah, the tendency towards it is something I found really depressing when I first spotted it. Because I was like, oh, we don't really want change. We like to pretend we want change. it's a nice, change is a nice idea. But you know what's really hard? Actually, like, making it happen. And, yeah, you can see in all too many places around the world this kind of taking hold. And I'm glad that it's, I'm glad that we didn't get to that point fully in Minecraft, right? I'm glad that instead of doing the system they've been doing forever, where they add new biomes by just kind of altering existing ones, I like that we've got a full brand new biome for the first time in a while. They might alter that before the end, but these mountains just kind of plop into the world in a brand new way. It's new, it's fresh. They doubled the depth limit. I like that Minecraft hasn't succumbed to the problem that has kind of plagued everywhere else that has this. I really want this to be lower down so we can actually like see what's going on out there a little bit better. But I guess that's just not going to be possible, huh? But yeah, the problem that's been something that like happened real bad between like I'd say 1.9 and 1.12 was they just got into a flow of what makes a Minecraft update, and they just started doing that. I'm glad that we started seeing some radical Minecraft updates, but then I worried like, you know, 1.13, 1.14, 1.16, they have a clear like flow as to how they go. And I feel like 1.17 for the first time is changing that. And a big part of changing that is like, yeah, they're going to make Minecraft a little bit easier. I think Minecraft in a given update doesn't get a huge amount easier. Minecraft over time undoubtedly does, because again, indubitably gets easier because of just the new options and all the craziness you have available to you. Also, I think there's a Nether Fortress over there somewhere. I think I want to try and link... Okay, is it down here? I think I want to try and link the Nether Fortresses together via this like obsidian monstrosity, if I can. I just don't know where this Nether Fortress is. You know, I'll go flying for it. It's fine. We'll do a quick little check. Okay, just over... Man, the Nether render distance, that do suck, huh? That do suck. Is it over here? No, it's not. There's a Nether Fortress like... Oh, here we go. Okay, so it's up here. That's actually way higher than I am right now, right? Or is it not? Is this lower? I don't know where we are. I'm going to be honest with you. I've lost track of all of the key information that I definitely should be aware of. But just round the corner, if this is the same... Hey, this is the same place. Just round the corner is another Nether Fortress. I just got to get to it. I can do that. So we'll kind of just make one central... No, that's gonna get me killed. Let's not do that. But yeah, so I think that Minecraft improving in genuine new ways is a hard thing, because every time they try something brand fresh new, I see it in my comment section, that same thing, that resistance to change. I think every, you know, like evolution we see has to be sold to you as it's like, oh, it's kind of like a thing we have now, but it'll allow you to do more stuff. Like when you're making, I think one of my big stances that some people don't agree with is that you need to be doing almost the opposite of what you think you need to be doing most of the time. Like, if you think... Oh, God. I'm going to get knocked off by a piglin crossbow right there. But, you know, like, when you think that you need to be doing something, you're probably already aware of it. It's the things that you don't think about that you have to be terrified of. And that's... it's kind of bad advice, because, like, yeah, be terrified of things that you're not thinking of is very broad and maybe even unsettling advice. But at the same time... Oh, how am I going to put glass over this, actually? Haven't even considered that. We're not even going to... We'll let that... we'll let that part of things come out later. We'll work it out. It'll be fine. But, yeah, I think... so, for instance, when there's a new technical evolution, you should just set it as like... it's like current things. Like, you know, personal electronic vehicles, PEVs, are slowly becoming the mobility method for cities. Think electric scooters, think electric bikes, think electric skateboards, like Casey Neistat, or like, you know, think, yeah, those are the methods that are becoming widespread as ways for people to get around small places. And, you know, like, a lot of people get terrified because they hear, like, ooh, someone died in a crash once. I even had a police officer try to be like, yeah, there was a crash 2 days ago. Someone had to get an ambulance involved. It was terrible. It's like, someone a few days ago had a bad crash, and so the whole the whole system is terrible. Are you hearing yourself? And that's the exact same argument people had towards cars when cars were brand new. People were like, yeah, cars are killing people like crazy. And the car manufacturers, not wanting to lose their primary business, started to they started to try and, rather than making it like the car's fault, they tried to criminalize the pedestrians and be like, oh, it's the pedestrians. So there's this, there was this, think of it like a slur, like this mean way to describe dumb people, like J's. Like, they're real J's right there. And so they tried to, every time a car hit a pedestrian, they called that like, because the person was, you know, it was a jaywalking, you know, like they were, that's what that was. That was a jaywalk in there. That wasn't the car's fault. It was the idiot pedestrian for walking. You know, who walks in front of a car? They kill people, you know? And so that successfully became mainstream. And so whenever you hear about like a car hitting a person, you're not like, yeah, these cars ought to be banned. You're like, oh, we need to work out some road safety measures. Maybe there should be signs warning people about the cars. And so yeah, like we're having a whole new wave of this. And so the thing that I think more and more manufacturers are trying to do is just pretending, rather than being like, oh yeah, it's a brand new way, is you just go, it's basically a bike. If you think about it, it's like, I mean, it goes the same speed that bikes are required to go. And, you know, it's person powered. As we all know, motor power, very dangerous. Person power, very not dangerous. Like, it's fascinating that we're, like, seeing this in real time. That, like, yeah, there are two ways to approach something. One is to promise the future, and one is to be like, this will just make your current life very slightly easier. And that's the side of 1.17 I almost want to focus on more. Sometimes be like, yeah, you need a lot of lava? Of course you need a lot of lava. We all need a lot of lava. It's going to be easier to get post 1.17, huh? I guess I'll do the mining side of this now, actually, too. Let's make this just better. You know, stuff like, oh yeah, you wanna get lava? Lava's gonna be so much easier post 1.17. Do you like mining, like me? You're actually gonna be able to mine and have a real impact on your world as a result in 1.17. It's gonna be crazy. You're never gonna experience anything like it. Oh, actually, I think I should go this way. I wanna line up perfectly with this stronghold here if I can. So this should be the edge. Oh wow, I've perfectly lined this up by accident. I mean, obviously, I mean, is anything perfect? Not an accident. The answer is yes. Many perfect things were not accidents, but please pretend that's not true. So we can say, yeah, we've now, at the very least, got these two fortresses basically linked together. Isn't that exciting? No. No, whatever you do, don't explode my axe. Don't explode my axe. Oh, that was close. Ghast explosions can destroy an entire box worth of shulker stuff, which seems really unfair to me, but it's the rule of the law. And I was so close to having that happen to me just there. Thank God it didn't. Speaking of my axe, do you think we should put mending on this axe? Because I've kind of just not had mending on there forever, and it's been fine. But like, maybe I should change that? Question mark. Ah, that's a question for another day. You know, what are you, a J? I kind of like the idea of bringing back old insults as a way to get people, you know? That's a real smart idea. I definitely think we should be doing. And so as a result, I think something I want to really, something that's been just on my mind a lot is like 1.17 is going to be, in some very specific but big ways, easier for gathering certain resources. And you know, the list of things that will be easier is kind of going to get longer and longer, you can imagine. Whatever it, you know, the Deep Dark has some unknown treasure. Hopefully this week we find out what that treasure is. I'm not holding my breath that it'll be this week, but sometime soon we're going to find out what is found in the Deep Dark, right? That's exciting, first of all. But second of all, oh yeah, this is going to be a weird one. I guess I'm going to make stairs up to there, and then it'll join in via that. Yep, that's the only way I can see this working. So where do we need the stairs to start? If we do like 2 stairs at a time, which we shouldn't do. Oh, we can't make obsidian stairs. So what we have to do is we literally have to like, yeah, do this in the most bland, simple way possible. Just to make this work, okay. Then place a netherrack. And there we go. It's going to be wonderful. I really should have checked before placing all of these blocks what the gradient needs to be. But I'm sure it'll be perfectly fine. I'm sure it'll be just okay. But yeah, so I think 1.17 is going to be especially interesting in terms of the changes that it makes. I know everyone's going to be focusing on those like, oh, well, my iron farm is slightly less valuable. Or like, oh, well, my ability to mine diamonds is going to be ruined. And it's It's all 1.17's fault. And I do see people like that every week. They're like, yeah, I hate change. I want things to be how they are now, but I want to be told that there's a change at the same time. That's what I want. I want the present. I want the feeling of the present, but sorry, I want the situation of the present, but I want the feeling of the future. And I think ultimately that is what we all kind of want on some level, to be in control of the future. But then when we do get that control of the future, we don't actually have grand ambitions for it. Also, you made me misplace obsidian. Back in the day, that would have been a 13-second mistake. Do you know how long it takes now? this long. That's how big of a mistake that was. Anyway, so yeah, I want to round this out by saying, yep, Minecraft has changed, and it will continue to change in ways that will make some people on the internet unhappy. But I think for the first time, this is like, I think it'd be very hard to make a compelling, convincing case as to why this is actually making Minecraft worse. And I think even though a lot of the focus is going to be on the various resources that are easier or harder, I think the real big change about 1.17, the creativity increases, like I mentioned in my video on Friday, is going to be the increase in height and depth limit. I think the real change is going to be the adventuring capability. When someone picks up Minecraft for the first time in years, so much will have changed in a way that I think they will genuinely very enjoy the current version of Minecraft. In fact, that's something I think about a lot. Like, every year, more people get back into Minecraft. Not getting into it for the first time. We're running out of people who could even find Minecraft the first time. Like, it's the best-selling game of all time by such a wide margin. And so, the question instead is, like, how many people get back in having played before and past? And we don't have precise answers on that. But I think the getting back into Minecraft experience is going to be the best. And I also think the creativity this update unlocks, the adventure ability this update unlocks, those are going to be truly incredible things that in the long run will way overshadow the difficulty. It's weird. We're here. I never assumed we would actually have a cave update. I assumed it'd be like pushed back many years and then like just be a small part of another update. That's why in my original bet where I had to eat those bananas, wasn't that fun, by the way? I've reached capacity. My body's saying don't eat any more bananas. But there's nothing stopping me eating more bananas. Like, I love these sort of mechanics where it's like, you should stop. I mean, but clearly, should I? You better be careful about the next bet you try, says Josh Schwartz. I agree, man. I've got to be more careful with these. Wow, look at the power of editing. That was in the past, but the video makes it look like it was just now. Yeah, the Toycat who assumed that 1.15 would be a cave update, he was a real J. Can't believe anyone would be such a J level as Toycat was. But the Toycat that is excited about this, he thinks that he's in the right. But the only real way, just like with COVID a year ago, just like with anything else, the only real way to know is with perspective from the only way something becomes clear is looking back from the past. The problem is we don't really have that luxury. We can't wait for the future. And believe me, it is a luxury to play 1.17. But I'm going to stop gushing over the new update. Could do that all day, every day. But instead, how about we gush over Toycat for a little bit? How about we say, was this Obsidian and Nether Fortress a good idea? Or is this the sort of thing we should leave and never come back to? Because personally, I think it's got its charms. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments down below. Unless you're a filthy J, that is. But no, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.